writing payloads for the Bash Bunny and contributing to the library on GitHub, this time on Hak5. Beep, beep.
Hello and welcome to Hak5. My name is Darren Kitchen.
My name is Shannon Morris.
It's your weekly dose of Technolust.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yes, now everybody stop what you're doing, grab some candy, and enjoy it. Just get that sugary goodness going, and Skittles.
I hate you so much. I'm doing 1 month of no sugar. It has nothing to do with Lent. You would know if you'd seen my Twitter profile.
Dude.
My pants just don't fit.
What? Sugar is snubs. Like sugar and snubs go to. There's a rainbow coming out of the ass of a unicorn on your vlogs.
Yes, that's true.
I'm imagining it's made out of sugar.
It's true. I don't know why I did this. It was a terrible idea. But I don't fall asleep in the middle of the day from my sugar crashes, so that's good.
How many weeks are you into no sugar?
This is my 8th day.
Okay, she's a delight to be with this week. Hey, we're gonna talk about the Bash Bunny.
We are. So there's been a lot of buzz about the Bash Bunny, and FYI, since I haven't been eating sugar, if I'm like totally off the loop in this episode, that's why, because my brain doesn't think so well if I don't have sugar. But we wanted to answer some very basic questions that we got about the Bash Bunny. So on this episode, we are going to cover how to write a payload and also how to submit it to the Bash Bunny library that we have up on GitHub. So, Darren, I have a question for you.
Yes?
Tell me that we're not making the Bash Bunny just like blink the LEDs in Morse code or something, because we've already done a hello world on the show. Are we doing more tutorials?
Of course you would want it to blink Morse code.
Well, yeah. Wouldn't that make sense?
That is actually kind of cool. Hadn't thought about that.
I think it would be cool.
That would be, but no, we're going to do a proper payload. We don't have to do just like a boring hello world.
Yay, proper payload!
Yeah, I think, and it's a fun example of kind of what's possible. We're going to attack this locked Windows machine over here, like, what? Yeah, there we go, wake up. All right. So so let's just dive right in, because we've kind of covered some of this in the previous episode a little bit, but I want to go through it in a little bit more depth. So here on my Linux box, I have, if I go over to Files, I've got my Bash Bunny down here. Great. Oh. And I'm just going to go ahead and set switch 1. I'm going to delete all of this stuff that's in there, whatever that existing payload was. Okay. And I'm going to create a new file with gedit, because I feel like using gedit. And we're just going to say LED R for red, attack mode RNDIS Ethernet.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go ahead and save that.
We already went over what that means.
Exactly. So that means that when I boot up the Bash Bunny in switch 1, it's going to turn the LED to red and show up as an RNDIS Ethernet device. Save that as payload.txt. There we go. Eject my bunny. Good to go.
Cool.
I can just unplug it, switch it to switch position 1.
Okay.
Plug it back in. And if I now just come over to my computer and run ifconfig, tech A, you'll see, okay, I got ETH0 and WLAN0 like I expect. Yeah. All right. Light is red, and now, hey, look at that. I have ETH41.
Nice.
And I got an IP address on it.
So booted, and now you have the Ethernet IP address.
Right. RNDIS Ethernet is the Microsoft proprietary one, but it's also supported by a lot of Linux distros. So while ECM Ethernet is like more specific to Mac, and it'll work on like most other devices like Linux, I've had great success with RNDIS. So anyway, now that it's just a computer that I got an IP address from, I want to SSH over to it, show you some fun tools that we can do to kind of attack the host, and then we'll automate that and turn it into a payload.
Yes, okay, cool.
All right, so seeing as it has the IP address 172.16.42.1, and
64.
64.1, and I got the IP address .10 from it, from its DHCP server, I'm going to just SSH as root over to it. And I've never connected to it before, so I'm like, yeah, that's my key fingerprint. And log in with the default password, Hak5 Bunny, and there we go. I'm on the Bash Bunny. I am in /root. I am on this Linux box. Cool. And if I go to pentest, so /pentest, you'll see I've got a couple of tools right now. I only have Impacket and Responder, but there's a bunch of different tools that you could install. And one of the tools that I want to run is actually from Impacket, and it's under the examples. And I feel like it's a good example of what's possible on like locked machines when you show up as RNDIS Ethernet. I'm just going to run, what is it called? rdp check.py. And what this does is it allows me to pass it various arguments for the domain and the username and all of that. Really what it's doing is it's just going to check whether or not RDP services are running on a machine, which is pretty cool. So if I go ahead and run that again and specify an IP address, in this case the IP address that my computer got from the bash bunny, which is 172.16.64.10, it'll come back, and in just a moment, and it'll actually, this error is actually because, hey, guess what, it's not running. If it were, it would actually say the word granted, and then I would see like, hey.
And it'll give you more information, right?
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, so we know how that part works, but how do you actually turn it into a payload?
Well, that's the kind of the first part of making a payload is testing to see, hey, what works, because I actually want to go through the steps as if I were physically there on the box, or at least, if I actually had, say, remote access into the bash bunny as it's connected to that machine. So what commands would I run to systematically check? Because really what I want to do is use, for instance, the LED here to kind of give me that interaction. I want to just plug it into a computer and then based on the LED know something, whether or not RDP is running. That's kind of the simple example in this payload.
So I'm assuming you're going to do like red means no and green means yes.
Basically.
Okay, cool.
So for that, let's go ahead. I'm going to switch it back over to arming mode.
Okay.
I have the switch there. And now, as it shows up as a USB thumb drive, I'm going to go ahead and edit the payload.txt and just kind of show you a quick and dirty payload and what that's going to look like.
Okay, cool.
All right, so if I come down here, there we go. Shows up as storage. And in my payloads folder, I'm going to go over to switch 1. And let's edit this payload.txt we were working on before. So far so good. Let's set the LED to purple. So R and B. Yeah, so we set it to red and blue, which makes purple. And now it's setting the attack mode. And then we'll go ahead and, in this case, we know that /pentest, /impacket, /examples, what was it, rdp_check.py, and then we specify an IP address. Okay. And here's the thing. We know that my computer received an IP from the bash bunny as, what was it, 172.16.64.10.
10, yeah.
It'll most likely be that. However, there's actually a function in the bunny helpers. This is the coolest thing. Unlike the USB rubber ducky, which has like a static language, the bash bunny has the ability to get more and more functionality as people contribute to the repository. And there's already a few built in right now.
Awesome.
So the language is evolving.
The bigger community it gets, the more languages it's going to be able to decipher.
Exactly. The more commands like LED and attack mode and all of those, like there could be potentially many more. So all I have to do to use those is to source this bunny helpers script, and now I can use all of that extra functionality. Okay. So one of them is the ability to check, hey, what's the IP address that the victim machine got from the bash bunny?
So how do you source that?
It's just like any other, it's bash. So we're just going to, before we do this command, we'll do source bunny _ helpers.sh. And that's it. That's all we have to do. It is done. There, that's a little easier to read. Now, 172, instead of doing the actual IP address of the victim, I can actually just do $target_IP.
Oh.
Right. And so what that's going to do is, instead of just spitting that out to the console, I'm going to actually redirect it to a file called, I don't know, rdp_check. Okay. Right? And then we'll just simply, in bash, do an if grep, because we know grep is going to allow us to look for a specific word in a file. I'm going to look for the word granted. Okay. And in the file that I just made, /tmp/rdp_check.
So by looking for granted, that's going to tell you if it's turned on.
Yep. And then if that's true, so the then statement, this would be true. And then else would be not true. And then phi is how you end an if statement. So basically, if it is in there, we'll just set the LED to green. Okay. And if it isn't there, we'll just set, the LED to R. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So that's literally taking an if statement, which you learn with any programming, really. That turns on the LED green if the RDP is on.
Like I said,
and then red if it's off.
It's not quite hello world, but it is kind of a simple example because based on that condition,
but that could be really useful.
Oh, totally, because if it does have RDP enabled, now we can kick off other stuff later on. And we can actually say like, oh, okay, the light went green, RDP is on. Now it's blinking yellow because it's now running another attack or whatever have you.
Would this work if a computer like that one is locked?
Yeah, it's the same thing as we've shown with like quick creds. It's the same thing you've probably seen before with like poison cred and stuff, or poison tap. It's the idea is like, hey, I'm a new network adapter, and you know, machines are like, cool, network adapters, let's be friends. And,
so can we demo it now?
Yeah, let's demo it.
Is it ready?
It's basically ready. Okay, so I've saved that file. Let me go ahead and check and make sure was that in there. Yeah, cool. And I'll now safely eject my Bash Bunny as you do, and I'm gonna go ahead. As you do. And I'll just eject that. That was in position 1. So we'll plug it in. Light goes green as it's booting.
Or green.
It should go purple.
I can't believe I said red. See, I told you guys. No sugar.
Now it'll go purple when it's setting up the
there it is.
The attack. So that's purple. I don't know how well that comes off on the podcast.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. So now it's doing its thing, and it just went to red. Because it checked, and guess what? RDP isn't running on this machine. It's a Linux box.
Right.
But we've got this locked Windows box over here, right? So
you got it?
I'm at the login screen. So I'll go ahead and just plug this guy in.
Green.
Green. Here we go. I'll put it over there.
You want me to hold it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to drop your computer over here.
All right, so it's done booting. It's now purple.
Okay, it's purple.
Just like your hair.
Oh my gosh, it is just like my hair. I should dye my hair that color. Lighter.
Hey,
purple.
look at that.
Oh, it's green.
It's green.
It works.
It's green because RDP is running on this machine.
Okay.
So there you go.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So you have done exactly what they asked for, and you have made this thing like FBI agent foolproof.
We love those guys. Yes, it is so easy an FBI agent can use it.
That's very cool.
If you can flip a switch into a position, plug it in, and look for if it's red or green, you can know which suspect's machine to toss in the evidence bag.
I guess so.
I don't know.
So anyway.
This shows the potential.
Next up, we are going to talk about submitting your payload to the Bash Bunny library at the GitHub repository. But first, we should probably take a quick break.
I'm going to take a quick moment to thank our awesome sponsor, Domaincom, who has been supporting Hak5 for years, and it's where Shannon and I go whenever we have brilliant ideas and want to bring them to the web, because they have this super awesome domain discovery service that helps you find the right domain just for you, and with their quick and easy checkout process, your website's online in matters of moments. Can you guys remember when it took like 24 hours to synchronize DNS? Wow, we are living in the future. Websites in moments, I love it. And get this, the guys over at Domaincom, huge fans of Hak5. They've been supporting us for years, and they have a coupon code just for us. It's HAK5, and it saves you 20% off when you check out over at Domaincom. And get this, send them a huge tweet. Say, at Domaincom, thanks so much for supporting Hak5 throughout all these years. And when you guys think domain names, think Domain.com.
I wonder if the Nintendo Switch is RDP enabled.
Okay.
We can test it.
I would love to test it. One, I don't think so.
Post a picture on Twitter.
I really doubt it would have Microsoft's remote desktop protocol running on it, but it is BSD under the hood.
Yeah.
So considering it's a Unix-like operating system, there's a very good chance it would have CDC Ether drivers built in, and there's a very good chance we could like port scan it and do all sorts of other fun automated attacks
we probably can.
against it. Because like it's
connected.
It's like ATMs and other embedded machines that just you're not expecting to be able to just plug into a USB port, show up as a network adapter, and start. I don't know. But yeah, I doubt it's running Microsoft RDP.
I would hope it's not.
Yeah.
So now that we have written a very nifty payload, if I may say so, and we want to share it with the world, how do we actually do this? So with the USB rubber ducky, I would just I could paste the code on the Hak5 forums, or I could put it on Pastebin and then link to it in a tweet, or I could put it on duckytoolkit.com, or I could put it on my blog, or I could make a YouTube video.
Okay, yeah, I see where this is going. That's kind of the exact problem.
Yeah, and it ends up everywhere.
Yes, and that's what we're trying to solve with Bash Bunny, because I feel like we've really done a lot of learning as far as how to curate awesome communities and create simple tools, but that's a pain point that I want to really solve with this one. And I feel like by just having a centralized repository, we're going to spend more time getting the job done and less time, looking around, spending cycles trying to track down a payload.
Trying to Google other people's code. Yeah.
So
definitely.
With that, I feel like it's almost like the difference between proof of concept code in 2004 from like some exploit site and Metasploit, where you're like, hey, I got the latest version of the framework. this is code that works.
Ah, that's a good point.
So it is a little bit more involved than just like pasting on the forums. And if that's all you're comfortable with, please at least do that and share with the community. But
on the forums, though.
On the forums, on the Hak5 forums. But otherwise, if you head over to the Bash Bunny wiki, so bashbunny.com, you'll find the link to the wiki. There's links up here to the forums as well as the ability to go ahead and find the payloads, right? So here's the forums, and here are the payloads. So the payloads are all centrally located in a Git repository. And it's actually really simple to contribute to this because you can do it all through your browser.
So you have mentioned GitHub a bunch. I mean, both of us have, and we are very familiar with it on Hak5. We do a lot of demos of a lot of really cool open source projects that are hosted there, but we've never actually, on the show, uploaded something to GitHub. We've both done it before, but we've never shown how to actually do it. So I think we should do a quick rundown on Git itself and how to do this.
Git's awesome stuff. Yeah, okay, so the kind of crash course is it's version control software. It's for software development, and it essentially allows giant teams of developers to all collaborate on one central project and share code. And there's been so many of these throughout the years. I mean, SVN is an example, but lately Git has really become kind of the go-to. Go figure, it was created by Linus Torvalds.
Really?
Yeah, back in 2005.
What? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
You know that guy, right?
Oh, Linus is great.
Yeah, he's got this little operating system. It's called Linux.
So GitHub is basically it's like a central web-based Git repository, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of these. GitHub isn't the only one that's a web-based Git repository.
Yeah, even on Hacktip, and they aren't sponsoring Hak5, I should mention, but on Hacktip, I just got a new sponsor, Bitbucket.
Oh, way to go.
And they do Git repositories as well for like team collaboration and stuff. So
awesome.
Yeah, there's plenty of them, not just GitHub.
Right, and GitHub pretty much, it is just Git, but they add some of their own special features, and we like it. It works. Under the hood is basically Git.
Yeah.
And you can just, you can clone the code just like you would any other Git repository. You can pull up the command line, you can hit git clone, whatever. Like I can head over here, and they make it easy where I can just download a zip file of the entire
so many segments of this stuff.
Yeah. So if I do this, I'm just going to get basically all of the payloads and all the good stuff, right? Or if I want to get into it, I can copy this and I can throw it in my terminal, and I can do like a git clone and then paste that and all of that jazz. Or we could just do it in the website because the website's easy.
So that brings up a good question. Like, we already know about git clone because we've done it so many times, but what other different terminology should I be looking for as far as like a crash course in this?
So you're right. We have cloned a lot of repositories because there's a lot of awesome open source stuff.
And it's easy.
It is easy. So we've been saying repository and repo, so just to give you like a quick crash course, those are just words that mean the place where the code is hosted, essentially. And then you mentioned clone. Basically, cloning is making a copy of a repository. And it's doing it in such a way where we can actually keep it updated, which is pretty cool to think that like as the community continues to contribute to it, if you clone this repository onto your own computer, you can do like a git update command, and then you can kind of like synchronize it. You can kind of think of it like Dropbox, where you always have the latest version.
So in that case, you would be like syncing up your own local copy, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and that differs from forking, which is one of the other things you should be familiar with, where it's just like cloning, except that you can make your own changes to your local copy.
Okay.
And then you can submit those changes over to the main, the original repository, so that everyone can enjoy your work.
Okay, so I could fork the Bash Bunny payloads, the repo, and then add my own copy and submit it back to the Hak5 version?
That's exactly what we're going to be doing.
Okay,
and
got it.
So you want to see how to do that just in the website?
Yes.
Because it's super simple. Okay, so let me go ahead and first sign in.
And your password is Kirby.
It is.
Obviously.
It's absolutely Kirby123. So this is just like another GitHub account that I created to show as an example. So I'm on the Hak5 GitHub, and I'm in the Bash Bunny's payload repository. And what I'm going to want to do is just go ahead and fork this. So I come over here and I click fork.
Is that a picture of a fork?
Yeah, basically.
That's adorable.
Yes. Takes just a moment. And now notice the URL. I'm still in the Bash Bunny's payload repository, but I'm not in /Hak5. I'm in /, I don't know, Ardwolf204 because I'm using my hacker handle today.
Okay.
204 isn't important. And basically, I can now add my payload to this. So remember, it's, in fact, I think, you know what I did? I did that thing you're not supposed to do, and I developed the payload on the actual Bash Bunny. So now I have to plug it back in arming mode to even get that payload.txt again.
That's funny.
Oops. Yeah. It's not best practice to code on the device that you're gonna, because I've definitely done some like Wi-Fi Pineapple module development on the Pineapple, and then went to do a demo of flashing the firmware, and then lost everything.
Oh no. Darren, that's bad.
I know. It's okay. The OpenVPN module was beautiful. You just never saw it. So if I go over to payloads, I think it's in switch 1. Is it this file right here? Yeah, great. It doesn't have any comments. It's just a quick and dirty thing, but this is just an example. What I'll do is I'm just going to rename, this isn't the way to do it, guys, but I'm just going to, as an example, show you. I'm going to call this check RDP enabled. I don't know. Terrible name for a payload, but we'll just use it as an example. And on my copy of this repository, if I go into the payloads folder and into the library, you'll see, okay, here's all of the different payloads that we have available.
Okay.
I can just drag and drop the payload over into my fork. And I come down here and I'll give it a name. I'll say example payload that checks RDP for fun and profit. And then I'll say submit changes.
Okay.
So now I'm making this commit to my own repository.
Okay.
And there we go. If I go to payloads and library, I see that my check RDP enabled repository, or sorry, payload is right here, but you'll notice that this is in the Ardwolf 204/Bash Bunny payloads thing.
Okay, so you have published your payload, but it's only on your fork, right?
Right.
So how do you get that over to the Hak5 one?
So this is where GitHub does this really cool thing called submitting a pull request, which is pretty cool. It's basically saying, hey, Hak5, I've got this awesome code. Why don't you pull it from me and grab the latest version? It'll be awesome, and then everyone can enjoy it, and we will do just that.
Okay, got it.
So let me head over here, and basically right under where it says, my username and then Bash Bunny payloads, you'll see it says forked from, and let me make that a little bigger. Forked from the original, which is the Hak5 Bash Bunny payloads. So if I come over here to the Hak5 Bash Bunny payloads, I can actually go ahead right from the top there, and let me make this a little bigger so we can see. I can go ahead and click on new pull request right here.
That's easy.
Right, and then I just have to compare the different forks. So what I'm doing is I'm comparing the Hak5 version to, in this case, come down here to my version, and it says, hey, yeah, this is able to be merged. There's we see there's a change here, so let's go ahead and then this is my commit, and we're going to go ahead and make a pull request for this commit, and I can say like, this is an awesome payload.
Okay.
Truly awesome. And leave it spelled wrong and click create pull request.
Cool.
There we go.
So now it's pretty much shared to the world.
Kind of, it's close. Basically,
Hak5 has to approve it, right?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different collaborators on the Hak5 side that are going to take a look at it. And what's really cool is now it creates like a thread and a discussion, so everything is like very sane. We can say like, somebody could look at this and be like, yeah, it is truly awesome, but like, awesome, but you spelled awesome wrong. I don't know, whatever have you.
If Hak5 wanted to come back and like make some kind of edit or change to it, or tell them like include a README or whatever it might be. Exactly.
Including a README is important.
So when you do that, would Ardwolf have to send in a new pull request?
Yeah, you just get like a notification like, hey, you're still pending, and make these tweaks, and then there you go. And that way we always get high quality stuff. It's always in one place. Everybody can like have a synchronized copy of all of the best payloads. Yeah, it's exciting.
So all I need to do now, because that's awesome, I like that, it's so easy. I need a GitHub account, and then I can send a pull request to the Hak5 Bash Bunny repo right from my browser. Is there anything else that I should know about this?
Just the README thing. And I just feel like that's kind of me saying, like, it's good to document your code. I did not document any of that. In fact, actually, I'm using this as an example, but if we actually come over here, we'll see that from this repository, I did this the other day under payloads. Library. I actually called it RDP checker, and I added this little readme.md file, and you can see it's nice and pretty. It's like, hey, here's about the versions and the requirements and the the status of the LED in this pretty little table. This is just a text file. It's called readme.md for markup language, and it's really simple. If I hit edit, you'll see the syntax is stupid simple. Like that table is just an ASCII table.
That's cool.
And those headings are just like pound, whatever. So it just wanted to point out that it's probably best to kind of continue with that theme, just so that everybody can enjoy your payload and know what it's going to do.
I also do want to mention with GitHub too, I don't think I mentioned it previously, but GitHub does have two-factor authentication. So when you sign up with an account on there, make sure to set up 2FA. And you can also combine it with your keybase, your public key. So you can pair your account with GitHub with your account on Keybase to add that additional, I guess, authentication that you really are who you are. So I thought that was pretty cool, and you might want to include it on your Keybase account if you also have
that's
Keybase.
good stuff. And the other fun thing that I've been doing, I love Keybase. Check out the episode on that. It's like Keybase is all about like tying together all your different like social community profiles and stuff. One of the things that I've been doing with my payloads is to add in a link to the discussion thread that is specific to the actual thingy here. So the thingy, so that you can head over to the Hak5 forums and see like, oh, hey, this is the discussion related to that, and that way we can garner feedback.
Cool.
And speaking of feedback, you can leave that right below. feedback@hak5.org if you want emails directly. Otherwise, I'm very just excited to see how this project is just like, I think we're setting off with the right tone, setting a solid foundation that we can build something that's just going to be wonderful for everyone. And it's based on everyone's feedback that we've developed such a thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it too. Great job again with the Bash Bunny. I think you put a lot of heart and soul into this collaboration, so I love it.
Having a lot of fun with it.
You guys are doing an awesome job. And of course, you can continue to contribute your own codes over to the GitHub account. We'll put that link in the show notes too, so you can find our Bash Bunny GitHub.
You can get the whole zoo.
Yeah.
The RGB zoo, as it were.
If you don't have the zoo yet, you can support us over at HakShop. It's hakshop.com. That's where you can get your own Bash Bunny as well as your own land turtle and USB rubber ducky and the Wi-Fi pineapple, all the different zoo of penetration testing tools and equipment. We have all of those things available. And yeah, we mentioned a contest last week with the Bash Bunny codes. We should mention that again.
On bashbunny.com. So if you just head over to the Bash Bunny homepage, you'll see all the details, and we're going to start featuring those just as these are now getting to people's hands. So very excited.
Yes, super excited about that. And also, he's going to be heading out of town, I believe tomorrow.
Yes.
Except we're in the future, so you're already gone.
I'm already gone. So if you haven't already, you can follow us on social media. You'll see links to our Snapchats and our Facebooks and our Twitters and our Instagrams over at hak5.org. And if you're in Southeast Asia and you want to get together, hackacrosstheplanet.com for the next, 3 months or so. I'm going to be kicking around Southeast Asia. I believe I'm starting in Jakarta. I'm going to be in Bali, and we'll see. And I'm learning things like Nama Saya Darren Kitchen. I don't speak any Indonesian. I'm going to learn real quick.
Shannon does. Dozo yoroshiku.
Yay!
Hajimemashite!
I'm not going to touch your mustache.
No. I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's really exciting times. So yeah, let us know what you think. And until next time, I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
Trust your technolust. So say we all.
Live long and prosper.
Keep crossing the streams.
That's okay.
Then I'm going BSG, you're going TNG.
TNG. BSG, TNG.
Actually, this would be TOS. I thought you were a TNG girl.
I am a TNG girl. That's what I grew up with. It's my preferred. It's my preferred series.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's really good.
Darmak and Jalad at Tanagra.
My favorite is Earl Grey.
You can say that to Alexa now.
Don't say Alexa.
Okay. Google.
Crap, I said it too.